Good morning. Happy New Year. Welcome to Keep the Faith with Pastor Frank. And I pray you do have a happy new year this morning. I know it's probably a holiday for everyone, but I'm going to go ahead and just do a little devotion here on humility. I've looked through several of the other chapters of things, and we'll be in Numbers um, just for probably this. So, um, Numbers chapter 12, and I'm just going to read a few verses of scripture here and make a, a couple of comments. So, the scriptures here in Numbers says, while they were at Hazeroth, Miriam and Aaron criticized Moses because he had married a Cushite woman. They said, has the Lord spoken only through Moses? Hasn't he spoken through us too? But the Lord heard them. Now Moses was very humble, more humble than any other person on earth. So immediately the Lord called to Moses, Aaron, and Miriam and said, go out to the tabernacle, all three of you. So the three of them went out to the tabernacle. Then the Lord descended in the pillar of cloud and stood at the entrance of the tabernacle. Aaron and Miriam he called, and they stepped forward. And the Lord said to them, listen to what I say. If there were prophets among you, I, the Lord, would reveal myself in visions. I would speak to them in dreams, but not with my servant Moses. Of all my house, he is the one I trust. I speak to him face to face, clearly and not in riddles. He sees the Lord as he is. So why were you not afraid to criticize my servant Moses? The Lord was very angry with them. He departed. As the cloud moved from above the tabernacle, there stood Miriam. Her skin was white as snow from leprosy. When Aaron saw what had happened to her, he cried out to Moses, oh, my master, please don't punish us for this sin we have so foolishly committed. Don't let her be like a stillborn baby already decayed at birth. So Moses cried to the Lord, oh God, I beg you, please heal her. But the Lord said to Moses, if her father had done nothing more than spit in her face, wouldn't she be defiled for 7 days? So keep her outside the camp for 7 days. And after that, she may be accepted back. So Miriam was kept outside the camp for 7 days, and the people waited until she was brought back before they traveled again. And then they left Hazeroth and camped in the wilderness, Paran. Well, the thing that I wanted to mention here, it's mentioned right at the top. It says, now Moses was very humble, more humble than any other person on earth. And it's an interesting here that Moses, through all of this, never thought of himself to be a special person. He even as God called him, he didn't feel like he was capable of doing the things that God wanted him to do. Even as he stood before Pharaoh, he was humble before God, and he was able to accomplish the things that God had told him to accomplish. He didn't, uh, he didn't berate Pharaoh. He didn't do any of the things that God's power in him could have given him opportunity to do. But he also, as he went through uh, his time, as he went through in his relationship with God, he continued to display that humiliative spirit that was part of his uh, God's reason for talking to Moses face to face, because he knew that Moses and used that as something that made him feel like he had some power or something to talk to people in a way that they did. He took his leadership of the Israelites very seriously. He he took instruction from God. He took advice from others. He took wise advice from others. He surrounded himself with people that were able to help him. And of course, then he had Aaron and Miriam. But as we go through our life, we're going to find a lot of opportunities that we could say we really did something big. We're going to find a lot of opportunities where we could say we made something happen. But the truth is, we need, as Christians, we need to be humble before the Lord and let God have the glory. Let God have the glory in everything. Let him have the glory in the great accomplishments that happen in our life. Let God have the glory in all of the things that we do. And then God will lead us and continue to guide us, even in whatever particular path that you happen to be on in your life. Sometimes it feels like we're in the desert. Sometimes it feels like we're in the mountains. Sometimes it feels like we're in different. But if we remain humble before God, then God will lead us. He'll watch over us. He'll protect us. And our part in this is not to get caught up in all of the affairs of the world. I think one of the things that we as Christians really need to pay attention to is we need to not get caught up in all of the affairs of the world and stay caught up in the affairs of God, the things of God. Stay caught up in the things that are ultimately going to make a difference in our lives, the lives of our families, and we'll just continue to see God do what He wants to do in our lives. God will lead us. He'll guide us. He'll do everything in our life. He'll provide for us. He'll keep us if we just continue to remain humble as we walk before Him. And I just wanted to share that with you this morning. I know that's a short devotion, but it is just a devotion. And I had to jump over so many chapters because I could see where we could be in one just in one chapter for a month. But there's some just wonderful things, and I like this where it says Moses was the most humble man, the meekest man on earth. So as we go through our lives, we shouldn't seek to be arrogant or powerful. We should seek to be humble and let God show forth His power through us. Keep the faith. God bless you. I'll see you again in the morning, 6:30.